Okay, so in this video, I want to show you how to add planning to an agent, and we're going to add planning to our customer support agent. And so first and foremost, I'm loading in these two YAML files for the planning agent and the planning task. The planning agent is the same as our previous agent, but I just wanted to separate it just for the sake of organization when making this course. And the planning task is a little bit different. So I'm going to open up my my PyCharm IDE editor here, and you can see that we only have one task. And why do we have one task? Because I'm expecting the agent to be able to plan out how to respond to the email itself. That means I'm not going to be telling it explicitly to retrieve the return policy, retrieve the shipping policy. I'm not going to be telling it to do any of that. I'm just going to say, handle the following support request from this user, give it the customer inquiry, and then I am going to help it a little bit and say if you need to assess the cost of the damage, you can use the internet search tool to do so. And I did this just to make sure that it is adding that step. In reality, you could just make it a completely separate task and keep the damage eval task separate right before the email is written. And so the expected output is an email response to the user support request, and we're obviously assigning it to the customer support agent. And again, it's expected to construct the plan on its own. All right, so back to our notebook, and what we have here is we have the agent and the task YAML. I'm going to print out the support task one more time just to see this is exactly what we saw in the IDE. I'm going to reinstantiate these tools. They're the same as they were in the previous lessons, but we're in a separate notebook now, so I have to instantiate them. And now it's down to defining our agent and our task. Now we only have one task. We have the support task. That's the only task we have right here, and I've already showed you what that entails. Now on the agent side, what changes is that, I go ahead and give the agent all the tools that it needs on the agent level. I could have just easily given it all the tools on the task level because there's only one task, but nonetheless, this works just as well. So you can give all these tools on the agent level, or you could just give all these tools on the task level just because there's simply only one task. And now when I define the crew, I'm going to set memory equals to true. Just from what I've looked around, it's a good practice just to add so the agent can remember its past interactions better. But everything else is the same. The only thing that changes is this little flag that says planning equal to true. So this is going to tell the agent or any agents in the crew that for any task that was given to it, in our case, the support task, it needs to first construct a plan, a step-by-step plan to execute that task. And then you're going to see that this agent is going to construct a step-by-step plan for the support task, and then it's going to follow that task. It may omit using certain tools, and it may not follow the same path in the step-by-step process that we had beforehand when we outlined the tasks themselves individually, but nonetheless, it tends to do a pretty decent job. And so the customer inquiry is the same, and I'm ready to kick off the crew. All right, so it starts off with the task that we gave in the support task. It says here it says review the user support request thoroughly. Number 2 says to retrieve the return policy, use the retrieve return policy tool to obtain the return policy. Number 3 is read and analyze that. It says here if you need to assess the cost of the screen damage, use the search internet server tool, analyze the search results, and then it says to compose an email. So I don't see anything here about the shipping policy, and so that's very interesting that it chose that. But it did retrieve the return policy. It did search the internet for the cost to repair a cracked laptop screen, and then it does produce a final answer. And so it does get back a list of articles, and just know from past experience that it does estimate the cost to be between $100 to $300. Right here you can see that it says the estimated cost to repair the crack is likely to be between $100 and $300. And since the cost to fix the damage is below $300, you can proceed with the return and receive store credit. That's really good that it evaluated the damage, matched that up with the return policy, and noticed that, hey, the cost to repair this is actually less than what's required in the return policy. So you're good to go. You can return the item. And then it said there's a flat return and shipping fee of $5. and then it gave you some steps, or it gave the user some steps. So, it didn't use the shipping policy tool in this example. It didn't use the complaint protocol, and that's very interesting. And so that's a plus and a minus. It's a plus in that, when you use planning, you give your agent some freedom to construct its own plan and to decide on itself what's relevant related to the input prompt. In our case, the support request. If you do give it planning, the problem is that it may not actually do exactly what you want to do every time. Planning is still in its sort of infancy stages. However, I think it's starting to break out because we now have O1, and I know DeepSeek became popular as well, but we have these models now that can do step-by-step reasoning before they ever produce a response, and they're better at planning. And so I'm hoping that with these new models like O1 and potentially later O series models from OpenAI and other companies, that we'll get better planning models so that this planning step can become even better. And so in that case, what would happen is that these O series models produce a plan, right? Or any of these planning models and reasoning models produce a plan, and then we can have another model, maybe like a GPT-4o model or Claude or Gemini or some other model, perform each one of those tasks. And so the planning model will write the plan, like O1 will write the plan, and then each subtask will be handed off to another model like GPT-4, 4o Mini or something like that. But that's planning, and I wanted to show you how to use that in CrewAI, and I really do hope in the future that it will improve, which I'm pretty confident that it will.